can't believe he said that. Like, how dare you? Who are you? That was tribal. Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host, Pinky, and today I'm going to be talking about Married at First Sight. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this video. I am in my car, as you can see. I didn't have time to record in my normal, setup. Like my normal setup is fancy. It's just my bedroom, but I'm trying to get out of this whole perfect thing, everything having to look perfect. I'm not gonna have time to record this and post it today unless I record it right now in my car. So that's what I'm doing. I bought this car mount a long time ago and just never used it, so I'm like, I might as well use it now. There's my Bath and Body Works in the back. But I know y'all don't care about this. Y'all want to hear my review on this episode, and I'm about to go on a little slight rant, so buckle up. Married at First Sight. If anybody from this show is watching, y'all need to cut it out with trying to make these shows 2 hours. It's absolutely ridiculous. This majority of this episode was filler. Literally, we watched the same thing happen 10 times today. Meet up with this family member, meet up with this family. We did that last episode. They did that at the they did this already at the reception. They already talked to the family at the reception. Why did y'all recreate that again on this episode? These clips they stretched out and gave to us really could have just been a montage. Like literally a montage, clip here, clip there. Because it did nothing. It was literally filler. And I am over it. Like I was not paying attention. I wrote down notes, yes. I wrote down notes. But I was not really paying attention. It was so hard for me to pay attention. It was so hard for me to even finish the episode. I had to finish the rest of it this morning. Like, oh my God. I don't even know where to begin, because I really just want to talk about what happened at the end, because that's the only thing major that happened. Pretty much everything else we've seen already. Y'all just gave us the extended version this episode. Good. I was just so over it. Like, I really hate the direction that this show is going in. It used to be a lot more realistic. I've said this before on live. I don't think I've ever said it on video, but it used to be a lot more realistic, a lot less produced. It was more documentary style in the beginning, and it felt a lot more authentic. It felt genuine. I feel like some of these scenes are really pumped up to be more than what they are. They're trying to make it more dramatic than what the situation actually is. How about you actually let us feel what we want to feel instead of putting out this dramatic music on top of it for these little situations that are not that serious, not that major. And I'm not talking about the thing that happened at the end. I'm just talking about meeting the parents, dun dun dun, and does the mom like me, dun dun dun, and what is the dad gonna say, dun dun dun, when they actually like the people. Like, stop trying to put us on the edge of our seats when we already know that it's not gonna end up like that. That is so annoying. It's like you're playing on my intelligence. And then on top of that, y'all already recruit people, which is something that I really don't like, but I can overlook it and still engage, because I understand that if y'all don't recruit people, most likely there won't be a show. And so I understand a lot of, especially men, are not going to sign up for something like this on their own. So maybe they do need to be kind of like recruited, and women as well. But, I assume that a lot of men don't actually write in and apply. So y'all need a large group of people to choose from to match. So I get that. So I could logically play that out in my head, and it makes sense. There's already a conspiracy that y'all mismatch at least one couple per season, a la Luke and Kate, and Matt and Amber from last season. There's a conspiracy that y'all mismatch one couple from each season for the drama. And the only reason why I can say maybe that's not the case is because some people look good on paper, and then when you put them together in person, the chemistry is just not there, right? You can't account for chemistry. You can't account for how people actually are able to coexist with each other. And also there are some people like Jamie and Elizabeth who will get on there and lie. They both lied about wanting kids, and actually neither one of them wanted kids, so it worked out that they got matched up with each other. Even though they're extremely toxic to each other, it worked out that they were matched with each other, because it would have been an actual disaster if they got matched to someone who did want kids. But I'm sure they're not the only people that have lied during this process, and there are people that lie. And so one person that basically signed up for this process with this pseudo personality that's not their real personality, and they got matched up with someone who is actually being themselves, and they're not matched up, and it didn't work out because of that. I can understand that. I do feel like y'all should do a little bit more vetting, maybe talking to their exes and things like that, but I can get past that because that has not been proven. We have no proof of that. I'm starting to believe it a little bit more, because it's like y'all stretching this out because it's like y'all want as much watch time as possible. Y'all do these salacious previews as if we're gonna get so much, and we actually get nothing till the last 2 minutes of a 2-hour episode. It's just, y'all, I'm frustrated. I'm sorry I went on this rant, but nothing really happened in this episode anyway, so let me go ahead and fill my video up with something, because nothing really happened. I'm not gonna sit here, I'm really not gonna sit up here and just talk about meeting with family members. They did that already. But I'm gonna see what I can pull out of this, okay? Austin and Jess. The main thing I got out of this, if Austin run his fingers through his hair one more time, Austin, your hair can't be in your face that much, boo, okay? Your hair don't even be in your face. You just be... No more. I'm playing. And the other thing I got from their segments is it just seems that both of them did this experiment only because they're trying to keep up with their friends. Like Jessica, her twin is married and has a baby, so she feels left behind. And he said, well, his friends are getting married and things like that, so he wants to go ahead and get a wife himself. It's just like, that is not a good reason to get married. But I hope it still works out for them. They seem like they're a good match. They're very quirky. They seem like their quirky energy really matches each other. I mean, he keep laughing at her corny jokes and she keeps making them. Hopefully they're both taking it seriously and actually want to stay married, because I don't know, I think it's ridiculous to want to get married just because your friends are married. Like, that's not a good reason. Moving on to Katie and Derek. Katie kept referring to this bowl of condoms and asking what her friends asked him and what they talked about, and acting so embarrassed. Girl, you knew your friends was about to do that. You knew your friend was drunk. Your friend already asked you those questions in the bathroom, and you know how she is already. So you already knew that she was gonna ask him that. Don't act so shocked and surprised. We already know how our friends are. And I wouldn't be surprised if you was a little bit the same way, because you didn't have a real problem with that. And then she mentioned she's allergic to latex. I mean, they kept alluding to the fact that they were going to consummate their marriage, but they didn't actually do it that night. She said she didn't want it to feel like a one-night stand. Okay, I mean, you're married. Like, if that's the reason y'all didn't go ahead and consummate your marriage, I'm just like, y'all might as well have went on ahead and did it, because you know it's not a one-night stand. You know you're married. So what do you mean you didn't want it to feel like a one-night stand? Y'all both have a ring on your finger. You're on this TV show specifically to document your marriage. So what do you mean? Okay, I found it interesting that Derek's parents are divorced, and his mother sat there and pointed it out and was like, yeah, me and his dad didn't work out, so what are you gonna do to change that in your marriage, because your parents are divorced too. That was kind of awkward. Like, I mean, he's sitting up here with his ex-wife and his current wife discussing why their marriage didn't work. It was kind of weird, but okay. She said she was gonna learn from her parents' mistakes and learn from her grandparents' marriage, because it lasted years and years and years. Katie's mother has cried in every single scene and confessional that she's been in on this show so far, and I'm just like, is her mom just like this emotional wreck, or is there something about Katie that we don't know, what is going on? Like, I just didn't understand why her mother was crying. Like, her mother has cried in every single scene. What is going on here? And then he asked her father for the blessings, yada yada. I mean, that was a cute moment, but like I said, that could have been a montage of what all happened. We literally sat through 10 sit downs with a family. I felt like I watched the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over. Don't get me started. Brandon and Taylor. Brandon actually gave Tiffany the gift that he was holding for her before they got married, and it was a Tiffany blue box. I was like, okay. And it was a necklace that said Mrs. Reed, and I thought that was actually a very nice and thoughtful gift. When I watched the episode with my grandmother, on one of these reviews, I'm gonna try to get my grandmother to do this with me. I doubt she will. She's so hilarious when we're watching this show. I got her to watch it. I personally think Brandon is full of it. She thinks I'm being a little bit too harsh on Brandon. So maybe I'll let up a little bit, because he ain't did nothing yet. He ain't did nothing. So let me stop. Their wedding night, she went into the bathroom and took off her makeup. And when she took off her makeup, genuinely, I don't know if it was on camera, I don't know how it is in person, but genuinely, Taylor looked like a totally different person without makeup, and she looked gorgeous without makeup. It's like, I don't know, usually makeup enhances, so maybe it's like the makeup technique whoever did her makeup used, it really did not enhance her at all. Her taking that makeup off, gorgeous. She does not need it at all, but I understand. A lot of people tell me I don't need it, but I still like to wear it, and I hate when people tell me I don't need it. So I'm not gonna say that to her. I'm just saying she looked amazing without makeup. Once they got to the room, it just seems like they got so much more comfortable. It just seems like they really started to vibe with each other, and you could really see that chemistry. So maybe it was just like a real nervousness keeping them from truly connecting before, because after that they really did seem like they were really close, and I like, it shocked me. I just didn't imagine that they would have that bond already. So I thought they consummated their marriage. I really did, but they say they didn't, so we'll see. When he met up with her cousin, aunt, and mother, I believe, whoo, that boy was so nervous. He looked so nervous, child. He kept taking a sip of his drink. I mean, looked like he was sweating. He was just scared. So one of them asked him, why is he 33 and not married? And I'm like, what kind of question is that? Like, especially in this day and age, he is so right. Millennials, they do not commit. They're not the committing type, okay? Being a millennial myself, I totally agree. Our generation is just not as committed as past generations. And I don't know if we're just more honest about it, because past generations, they got married and the men weren't faithful. You know, there was a lot of infidelity and other families across town going on too. They were just married on top of that. Maybe we just not wanting to be married and cheated on, or they just don't want to be cheaters. And in a marriage, you know, in a marriage, a loveless marriage. So I think that's a part of it. Just because a man isn't married by 33, that doesn't mean that, you know, he's a player necessarily, or was avoiding marriage. The cousin was just pressing him and just trying to make sure he wasn't playing no games with her cousin, and I don't blame her. You know, go in, go hard. So let's move on to Mandy and Zach. From the first scene on this episode, everything was so forced. Everything was forced. And I'm talking about from Zach's end. So I told y'all earlier, I watched the show with my grandmother. And from the very beginning, my grandmother was like, oh, he don't like her. She could tell from the beginning. I think we all kind of could. Like, he wasn't really gushing over her the way she was gushing over him. And I even said it in the last episode, girl, don't show him all your cards. Don't be calling him gorgeous to everybody, especially if he didn't say the same thing about you. And it was just like, I think he's going through the motions, because I think he does want the free promotion and the publicity of being on TV. I do, because he is a model. Like her friend pointed out earlier, he's a model. He be posting all these sexy pictures, and he has this gym that I'm sure he wants to get out there. Like, And he said why would he go this far in order to get, you know, clout or whatever? You definitely would not be the first. So let's not act like that's never happened. Let's not act like no one's ever come on this show for the clout. And she said she wanted to kiss him a lot, and he said, yeah, let's go get in our pajamas. Like, who does that? If I say, oh, I just want to kiss you, let's go put on our pajamas. You ain't trying to kiss her. Like, that is so cringy. Oh my goodness, that's so embarrassing, girl. I hate it. My grandma was cringing so bad she didn't even want to watch it. She was like, oh, I can't even look. I can't look. She didn't even want to look. And my grandmother is not the type to be like squeamish about anything, but she couldn't even look because she thought it was so cringy. And it really was. It was so cringy. And I also wish she would just tone down her excitement and tone down her I wish she would turn that down, because clearly he's not on that same level of excitement as you. And so it's kind of like read the room. Like, if I'm on 10 and he's like on a 4, why are you still on 10? Come down a little bit, because that can be annoying. The destination for everybody's honeymoon is Panama, right? So when they get there, they actually meet each other in the lobby and they get their hotel rooms or whatever. And Mandy notices that everyone is all like booed up, interlocking arms, holding hands, whispering in each other's ear, kissing, you know, really into each other. And she notices that Zach is treating her more like a friend, and she also notices that Mika and Michael are actually very distant from each other, and we will get to them in a minute because I got a lot to say about Michael. Under different circumstances, like under regular circumstances, I would say don't compare your relationship to anyone else's. Just because someone else is doing something, that doesn't mean that should define how your relationship should be going. But in this case, I do think she's right. I do think that, you know, she had a right to confront him about it. Even though as cringy as that was, she did have a right to confront him and ask him what's going on. And then she proceeded to not take a shower and jump into bed. A bed that you share with someone else, your husband, your new husband that you just met, and you didn't take a shower. And she was like, yeah, you don't have to cuddle me, or yeah, I'm just tired, or yeah, I'm just gonna jump in the bed, I'll just stay on my side. I don't care. The germs can travel, girl. Why are you not back? Like, I'm sorry, this one thing I'm gonna be on Zach's side with, that is nasty. You need to wash. You just went on a whole plane ride to another country. Why do you think you don't need to bathe? Especially before getting into bed. What? That was nasty. And like, you just confronted him about not being attracted to you, but that's very unattractive to not bathe. Like, you're not helping the situation whatsoever. I was looking just like him, like, ugh, really? Yuck. And then off camera, because these men don't like to act up on camera, they always act up off camera, if you notice. Luke, he did the same thing. He did all his acting up off camera and tried to look like an angel on camera. Matt, he just didn't come home. But he did that off camera, right? So nothing has changed. Zach is acting up off camera. She said that he said, I'm not building an attraction towards you. And what do you want me to do about that? And that's not funny at all. But it's like, dang, like, just rub it in. Like, if you're not attracted to the girl, that's one thing. But to say, well, what do you want me to do about it? That's very rude, Zach. And I just can't believe that he would actually say that to her. But I can't believe he would say it off camera, because that's where these men be acting up at. And Zach, since we're talking about attraction, let's just be honest. You have a nice body and you do have nice hair. But you are short, okay? You're not super tall. So let's not talk about attraction. Let's not talk about looks. I understand if you're not attracted to somebody, but the way you did it was nasty. So since you want to be nasty towards her, let's be nasty and point out your flaws, because you're not the best looking person on this earth, and you use your hair to compensate for your lack of height. I don't like to get into looks and go in on people's looks and talk about looks. I don't. But I will if y'all start getting ugly on here, because I hate when these men come on here and treat women dirty, especially the nice ones, especially the ones that ain't gonna come back and pop off and snap the way a lot of other these women would, because I know Mika wouldn't have accepted that. But let's move on to Mika and Michael, since I'm already a little hyped. So let's move on. I wrote this down before I knew what happened later on in this episode. He said there's a whole lifetime for coitus, and so he could wait. He said that, all right, but just hold that thought, because I wrote it down. He ordered a very extravagant breakfast, and that's where Mika said that she doesn't like to try new foods. But that was odd, because later on she likes to go zip lining. It's very high up in the air and very nerve-wracking for people that are scared of heights. And she just seems like adventurous when it comes to things like that, but she won't try new foods. Like, I personally, I don't understand why people don't like to try new foods, because you never know. Your favorite food might be out there, you just never tried it. Every food that you've had now so far, it was new to you at some point. You had to try it for the first time at some point. So for you to be totally against trying new foods, I just find that ridiculous. Because I think it's great to try new foods, because you never know. You might find something that you love. But on the flip side, he's not willing to try zip lining and heights and things like that. So it's like, to me, that's kind of like the same thing. If you're not willing to try new foods, but you're willing to try new foods, but you're not willing to do anything adventurous, I feel like that's kind of like the flip side of the same coin. Both of them need to step outside of their comfort zone and try something fun. I mean, you're both married strangers, so keeping that same theme and try some new things. Mika was blending in with his family really effortlessly. She was like actually carrying on the conversation like she been knew all of them. His sister and mother keep telling Mika that he's very sensitive and he will shut down and this and that. They kept telling her that, okay? And so they kept ringing back in my mind every time they said it, because I knew that it was gonna come up at some point. And then when he met with her sister and I believe aunt and mother, the sister asked him about cheating and had he ever cheated before. And I mean, I guess that's a good question, but I think that's a question that his wife should ask him first, or his significant other should be asking him. Like, because now it just puts it in his mother's head that he could be a cheater. Like, her disposition completely changed when she heard that yes, he has cheated. She appreciated the fact that he told her the truth, and even though it was emotional cheating, she really it totally changed her disposition, and she was more so like And I'm just like, I feel like this information is going to get back to Mika in a bad way, and possibly that could have affected how she acted later on. Hopefully it didn't, but I don't know. It's just that question and the answer, it made things a little bit more awkward. So now we're going to get to the honeymoon in Panama. So they were very standoffish and very like on two different pages while everybody else was being lovey-dovey or whatever. And Mika said that Michael gave her an ultimatum off camera on the plane. And he said that either they had sex on this trip or he's done with this whole thing. And that really threw her off guard, and threw me off guard too, because it was like, in the beginning of this episode you were just saying there's a whole lifetime for coitus, and I mean, what happened to that Michael? And that's what she was saying. He acts totally different off camera than he does on camera. On camera, he's a little bit more understanding. He knows exactly what to say. He gives very pageant answers on camera. But off camera, he gives her the real, how he really feels. And he says it in a jacked up way, what it seems like. She's afraid that he portrayed himself as something that he's not to the experts. And they matched her to his persona rather than his real self. That's a real thing to consider, because if he truly is acting totally different off camera than he is on, that means he does know how to, you know, play it up for the cameras. He knows exactly what to say on camera and a totally different person off camera. And that is scary. That is scary. And when she confronted him about this, he essentially denied it, and he gave another pageant answer. He's learning how to handle things. But I just need for Michael, if you're going to deny what she's saying and you're going to refute what she's saying, and if you didn't actually say what she said that you said, I need for you to say what you said. What did you actually say? See, that makes me think that he did say that, and he just got caught. He didn't think she would actually confront him on camera. And you know, he's a deer caught in headlights now, and now you want to act like you didn't mean it like that. And I'm not quite sure that you did. I'm not quite sure that you didn't say it. Like, I believe her, because he didn't have no good answer. He really acted like he was caught off guard that she even brought this up on camera. So he ended up leaving for the night, and they stayed in separate hotel rooms that night. And it's really not looking good for this couple. I honestly think they're gonna make it past this. I think they're gonna make it past this argument. I think her calling him out will actually help if they're gonna stay together in the long run, because it's gonna keep him honest, and it's gonna keep him being real about his feelings. It also can be true that she was going to consummate the marriage on this trip, but you just ruined it by putting down an ultimatum. You completely ruined the moment. You completely ruined what could have possibly was going to happen anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's how I feel about this situation. Mika and Michael and Zach and Mandy. I really don't understand how this review got to be this long anyway. Because not much happened in the episode, like I said, but it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think down below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.